Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy X. Last time we finished up Blitzball.
The final showdown.
This time we're going to do a couple more things before we finally head on to Sin. One of those is in the Omega Ruins. It's an optional dungeon that contains enemies equivalently as powerful as those in the final dungeon.
700 years ago, a monk who defied the teachings was sentenced here.
Oh, the traitor Omega, yeah?
Omega's loathing of Yevon has turned him into a fiend.
They say he liked it underground, out of the light.
So, he's here?
Scared?
Not a chance.
Makes me think of Star Wars. The princess? She's here? Anyway, let's see. No, that's the one. Alright, so I'm not actually going to do this dungeon before we go to do the final dungeon and all that kind of stuff, because in the international version of the game, the boss here, they made him 10 times more powerful, and he's way stronger than the final boss, so we'll do this after. What I am going to do is I'm going to go over the treasure chest minigame. In this dungeon, there are 12 treasure chests. Now, you have to open them in well, not a specific order, but you have to open them all in one go. In the PS2, PS3, PAL, and I believe even the PS4 version of the game, as soon as you come in to the Omega Ruins for the first time, it locks your RNG on whether you're actually going to be able to get all of the treasure chests, because normally as you're doing them, you're going to get one chest that works, and then you'll get another chest that will be a mimic instead. Case in point. We'll just kill it. I can't remember. Can you run away? I can't believe that actually hit. Anyway, we'll capture him. Sure, why not? Now, that treasure chest, if you had stolen from it, would have contained a mimic, and it's a really hard enemy. I don't want to fight it right now. But that's kind of how things work in here. If you want to be able to get all of the treasure chests, you need to do it all in one go. And like I said, the RNG is set when you enter the Omega Ruins for the first time. So in order to do it in all of those other versions, you need to watch that cutscene every time and put on no encounters and run through here, and hopefully you get lucky, because like there are a number of strategies people have proposed, you know, timing games and doubling the amount of seconds waiting in front of chests and stuff like that. From my experience and the research I've done, I don't think any of these strategies worked. It's literally just random. You don't really have a whole lot you can apply to it. In the Steam version, specifically, you can enter Omega Ruins and save at the save point before doing anything, and then just reload that save. And so that makes things a lot faster for us. We don't have to watch the cutscene every time. So in order to get all of them, you have to do it all in one go. If you are not planning on doing this, as you do all these 12, you'll get different rewards. I'll put it up on screen here. And what you can get, if you get all 12 of them, is 99 warp spheres. And it's basically the ultimate sphere. It allows you to warp all the way around the grid without, you know, having anyone been there or anything like that. And if you want to get those, you basically don't need level 4 key spheres. You can warp around them. If you want to do that, I'm going to show the footage of me getting extremely lucky in about 20 to 25 minutes of attempting it earlier today. Before that, though, if you don't want to do that, if instead you find it takes too much time, it's a pain in the ass, what you're going to want to do is attempt to get them like I did over there, and get the level 4 key sphere. And now each time you go into one of these rooms, you can open another chest, and as soon as you hit a mimic, it resets the counter. Unfortunately, this time we got this. Okay, I was going to cut that out, but she happened to hit on her first try, so we'll just call it good. And the other treasures in the room, as soon as you hit a mimic, will disappear. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to get as many level 4 key spheres through doing this as possible. And the way you do that is you go to one of these little rooms and you get a level 4 key sphere, which is the first prize. Then you go and save, reload your file, and then go to the next room and try and get another level 4 key sphere. There's 4 such rooms of these, and Okay. In my case, because I already got the level 4 key sphere, the next one will be a defending bracer. But if you had saved and reloaded, it would have been a level 4 key sphere. But the thing is, once you get one of them, and you walk away, the other treasure chests will disappear. So you can only get up to 4 of these level 4 key spheres by doing this. Maybe 5, I can't remember where the second level 4 key sphere is on the list. But anyway, if you want to go after the level 4 key spheres, that's going to be the easier method. If you want to go for the 99 warp spheres, you can. I'm going to show the footage of me doing that earlier today, and then we'll regroup after that. Okay, I did post commentary on this because there was no way I was going to say the same thing, you know, however many times in order to do it. As you can see, I've made use of no encounters and a little bit of fast forward to make this work for me. It took me about 20 to 25 minutes to do this, and basically it's just reloading over and over and over again. As I was saying before, if you're playing on any version but the Steam version, you have to do this. I believe the RNG is set on the first time you enter, or at least that's what everyone says. So that's what I've been led to believe, and that's the information that I worked with. But if you're running the Steam version, you can come into the Omega Ruins for the first time and save before opening any treasure chests, and then just reload that save over and over and over again until you happen to get lucky enough. And as I was saying before, yeah, that specific area changes the camera angles so bloody much. It's really annoying. But yeah, this didn't take nearly as long as I was expecting. The chance of getting the correct spawn here, at least to my understanding, is 1 in 240. So that's actually, that's a pretty significant chance. They may have changed. Yeah, I walked up there that time too because I was trying to run one way and I couldn't. But yeah, so I don't know. I find... I don't think it's as difficult on the HD remaster. I never really tried it on the other version, but anyway, there's not really a whole lot to it. We can go over some of these weapons in a little bit, but if you successfully do all of them, 99 warp spheres, and that's going to save us having to use pretty much any level 4 key spheres, and I'm going to get a couple of abilities a little earlier than I otherwise would because I can warp the character to get the ability and then warp them right back out. Now I'm going to cut this off because you don't need to see me walk back, and we'll pick it up in a moment here. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, this was the room that had the 4 treasure chests in it. There was one thing I didn't pick up in my haste there, and that is right over here, the final Albed Primer. And you get an achievement for unlocking all the books, but that's not the end of the side quest. We can do something else with it. Also note that the map around here can't be filled in, or has to be filled in. It's not there by default, as you kind of saw at the beginning of the episode there. But what I'm going to do now is there's one enemy in here I want to encounter and capture. So I'll cut to a battle of that, and I will see you in a moment. Finally, I'm surprised it took me so long to run into these guys. That was rather irritating. While you're doing this, 2 things, or 3 things actually. Steal from those little demon guys that we saw earlier, the ones with the chest. You'll want to steal from them. You can get petrified grenades from them, and that'll be particularly useful. The other thing is steal from an adamantoise if you run into it. Just steal a couple of times from either enemy and then use flee. The other thing, make sure you have first strike on Titus's weapon and that he's in the party. Otherwise, you will regret it. Not only do a lot of enemies ambush you in here, but there is a great Malbro in here that will ambush you every single time you encounter him in here, and he will always start with bad breath, and that will usually lead to game over. So you want to kind of be aware of that. As far as how to take care of these guys, we just want to capture a couple of them, so I'd throw a Shadow Gem on them because that should do a bunch of damage. The enemies around here do have quite a bit of HPs. I don't think they have anything useful to steal. High potions, pointless. And we do a lot less damage than we otherwise would. This particular enemy should be on my list somewhere. Where's my list? I have a list. And let's bring in Kamari. I believe they're susceptible to petrification. There we go. And also to instant death. So we can use Riku to do that. We'll just pull in Lulu real quick. Why not? Go. And bring in Auron. One final character. And there's the petrification. Make sure you just come in here. You only need to capture one for now, but I'm just going to do it so that I'm set up for a little bit later. And yeah, that's all we need to deal with in here. Now I'm going to put on no encounters, especially since Titus is not in the lead at the moment. That can turn out really bad because you can run into the Malbro pretty much anywhere in here. There are certain areas that seem to have a higher chance of letting you run into specific enemies here, but I don't really have a list kind of set up right now. So the other thing that I want to do before we go any further is, now that we've gotten to this point where we're no longer, traders or anything like that, we can go back to all the temples, except for the one in Besaid and the one in, where is it? There, in Makalania. Those are both guarded by Dark Aeons, which we will die to. I tried Dark Valfor, and I got him halfway, but that was it. Also, you can never go back to the one in Bavel, so don't worry about that. So what you're going to have to do, unfortunately, is you need to go back to the Chamber of the Fayth, and which means you have to redo the puzzles all over again. So I'll do all that off screen. We'll just have a short sequence of us being in there. There's a little cutscene, some items, and then we'll move on. Okay, so you don't have to do the destruction sphere as part of the puzzle at all. You just have to go in and do the base puzzle, and you'll be fine. You'll be able to get here. That's all you need to do. Also, I will let you know if there are any Dark Aeons around where you're going.
Sin swam in the sea near Xanarkand. Perhaps the waking dream eased its suffering. Your father touched Sin and became real that night, foundering in the seas of Spira. How sad now that he is caught in the tragic spiral. He is Sin. He is lost.
Now, I believe that's the biggest indication that Dream Xanarkand, as it is, isn't like physically a dream. It's a physical location that actually exists, and it exists somewhere off the coast of the sea or whatever. And the reason why Jecht was able to transfer, from Dream Xanarkand to Spira, which, like, Dream Xanarkand literally exists in Spira. It's just completely isolated. At least this is from what I've researched and read and how I understand it. And he just swam out to sea. Remember, that's how he disappeared. He swam out to sea and never came back. Well, he swam out to sea and he touched Sin and became real, and was no longer able to go back to Dream Xanarkand. So that's at least my understanding of how that works. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, one other note is, while you're in the area, come in, capture one of those guys, and then we can move on. Just so you know where I am, we're on the Jose High Road here. I just want to capture one of them so it's available in the battle arena there. And so yeah, we're just outside of Jose Temple here. Just take the whatever it is there. Yeah, a lot of people will be telling you this if you talk to NPCs at this point. The warrior monks and the Guado have all returned to their their homes or whatever. The warrior monks are in Bavel, and they've all abandoned all of the other people, and so the Crusaders are starting to build themselves back up at this point. But anyway, I will meet you on the other side of this trial. And we're back. This is somewhat of a time-consuming process, but you get some decent stuff out of it. And you learn some more about the plot that you otherwise wouldn't get, so that's pretty good, I guess.
For a long time, we had forgotten how to go forward. You reminded us we must go forward. Yes, we must run. Let us go, you who share our dreaming. Come, and we will run till the dream's end.
You'll notice that these guys are talking as much to Titus as they are to Yuna, which is kind of interesting in terms of what we know about things, but Yuna, of course, does not know that, so I'm sure she's confused as all hell. it's nice picking up these spheres. Like I said, you can go back to a whole bunch of these, and we'll do the rest of them now. Okay, as I said, Makalania is covered by a Dark Aeon, so we can't go there. We can't go back to Bavel. So the next one to go to will be this one here, to the one for Yojimbo. Now, this one is a little bit unique because, and I would say before coming in here, just in case you screw up, but in order to do this one, you want to warp to the back of the cavern. Do not walk backward. You walk backward, you face Dark Yojimbo. You die. Go forward, and things aren't so bad. There's no area to explore in here, no chests. You just get to talk to Yojimbo. And his dog. Good puppy.
You are a fading dream, but one touched by reality. Spira will not forget its reality, nor the one who saved it. Run, dream, run on. Pass beyond the waking, and walk into the daylight.
Some of what these guys say is just cryptic and doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but anyway, if you're trying to leave here and you, like I said before, you walk out, you run into him, if you warp out, you'll be alright. So make sure you do that. That will save you from a needless game over. And yeah, I will head over to the next one. Oh, the easiest way to get here is to warp to Gagazet and then come on down here. So anyway. And the final one we can do is here in Remium Temple. There's no trial to go through, obviously, but you can talk to the Maga Sisters here. Like I said, there's also one scene in Besaid and one in Makalania. Can't do those at the moment. There's nothing in Xanarkand, so don't worry about that.
Why couldn't we see to stop the dreaming? Why did we stay on in Spira? We had forgotten for so long. We had forgotten to move forward. We had forgotten to change.
Again, that kind of, you know, helps to illustrate my point about nothing ever changing in Spira. But anyway, now that we've done that, I am going to meet you back at the Mihen High Road, where we're going to pick up a few things. Okay, you just have to warp here. And is it... No, I don't want to rest. I want to talk to you. You sell the weapons. And specifically the armor. Yeah, I don't need Dark Strike for any reason, really. And I'm going to buy a few pieces of armor. Now, these are not the best armors that you can buy at this point, but they're really easy to set up. And I don't need one for Yuna because I'm going to use that silence-proof ring as an alternative. We do want one for Waka. I do want one for Lulu. I wanted to equip that, but oh well. I already have one for Kamari, and I already have one for Orin. And... I believe I need one for Riku. Now that I've got those, let's just equip the one on Lulu here real quick. I'm just going to set up a really easy to create really good armor for the end of the game. And to do that, we need to customize. And while we're in here, we'll take a quick look at the stuff that we got there. Let's see here. So, the Warmonger. It's double AP and double overdrive, not particularly good right now. Cacto Wizard, half MP cost, we've had better for a while. The Phantom Ring is really good. You could throw Water Eater on there and then you were immune to, you know, elemental spells, you know, save for Holy. Flare, Ultima. Yeah, kind of not all that worthwhile. This one's pretty good for Kamari. You could use this in place of what I'm doing for Kamari, but I may use, depending on how many items I have. The Turnover, it's just a counterattack weapon. We don't really need those anymore. And the Defending Bracer has Silence Proof and Dark Proof. And I think that's all we got out of those treasure chests earlier there. So, now that we've got that, let's take a quick look here where... There's one. We'll just demonstrate this on one, since doing all of them would be tedious. Okay, stamina tonics we got for getting all of, at least I think it's two of every or four of every enemy in Besaid there. and it only costs 1 to put HP plus 30% on. So that's really, really good. It's also really, really cheap to get that since we have so many of them. The one that's not so cheap is the other one that I want to put on, Stone Proof. This is why I recommended stealing from these, there's Zarus, the little demon guys with the treasure chest in Omega Ruins there, because you get the petrified grenades from them. And that's the same reason why I wanted to capture one of the basilisk enemies on the Jose High Road there, because you can bribe them for more of these if you want to. And so that's what I'm going to do for everyone's armor. The only exception will be, there we go, Echo Ring. Now, see, how many items do I have for HP plus 10? Only enough for 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put HP plus 10, HP plus 30, and Stone Proof on this one, because she already has it set up. So we'll put that on there, and let's see, HP plus 10. If I had enough to do 2, I would have done one for Kimahri too, but I didn't think I did. So there's 10, and there's 30. And so everyone else is going to get set up the same way that I set up the one for Kimahri there a moment ago. And what that'll do is that'll just give us, you know, protection against stone, which is the most important status effect to protect against going forward. And yeah, and give us some more HP, which we definitely need. That's pretty much all for that. At the start of the next episode, we'll do a little bit of sphere gridding. We'll finish off whatever's left. Even though I wouldn't have had, I think Kimahri is the only one I won't finish off, because these are all the extra ones that he got from, that everyone got from doing all the extra capturing. But I think pretty much everyone else can mostly finish their grid. Well, maybe not Lulu, but we'll do as much finishing of grids as we can. And then I will make use of all of those different spears that I got, the, you know, all agility, defense, accuracy, strength, all those. I'll find good places for them. We'll finish up as much of the grid as we can. And then we will finally head over and take on Sin. That's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.